Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Francis Oyima Edet, coming to you live from the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government reopens Third Mainland Bridge after repairs. Akwa Ibom State Governor Moino emphasizes commitment to collaboration with development partners to attract investments. Plus, U.S. President Joe Biden discusses Mid-East war with Western allies. We will bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin the news this afternoon from the national scene where the federal government has reopened the Third Mainland Bridge after closure for palliative work. A federal controller of works in Lagos, Olukorode Kesha, expressed satisfaction with the repairs done on the Third Mainland Bridge, assuring motorists of a smooth ride till the commencement of comprehensive rehabilitation in January of 2024. During the inspection, the controller stopped on various portions between Iyana-Oworo and Adeniji-Adele where remedial repairs had been done on a 9.7-kilometer stretch of the Lagos Island in Boundary Lane. She stated that the construction done was just palliative work to keep the highway in good condition pending the comprehensive rehabilitation scheduled for January 2024. In the meantime, the Ministry of Defense, through its steering committee on social safety net, has flagged off enrollment of veterans for palliatives to mitigate the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, who was represented by a director in the Joint Service Forces Ministry of Defense, Jude Alozie, noted that veterans deserve the best. Hence, the decision by the Defense Ministry to extend the gesture. Abubakar said though the gesture was the first of its kind, it would henceforth continue. Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, who was represented by the Commander, 15th Brigade Ohafia, Brigadier General Kais Bwashi, urged veterans to make the best of the gesture. Away from that, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has again stressed the need for the country to shift from a mono-economy marked by overdependence on crude oil and embrace non-oil exports, particularly agribusiness, to overcome the problem of forex crisis that has significantly impacted the nation's economy negatively. Obasanjo alluded to the assertion by some commentators who opined that oil had become a curse to the nation, hampering the development of potentials in other areas. The former president spoke at the closing ceremony of a one-week training organized for 200 entrepreneurs by the African Leadership Foundation in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He expressed sadness that Africa had continued to remain at the bottom of the global trade pyramid and global value chain, accounting for only 1.9% of global manufacturing, because it has failed to add value to even its small export of primary commodities. On judicial matters, the Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the appeal by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) against the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court, which affirmed the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the last presidential election. A 7-member panel of the court led by Justice Inyang Okoro announced these after counsel the parties adopted their briefs of argument and made final submission. The Apex Court also took arguments from lawyers to parties on the motion filed by Atiku to supply fresh evidence on forged documents. The court further heard the appeal of the Allied People's Movement (APM). The party was urged to withdraw its appeal as it did not have prayers for determination. The Apex Court thereafter dismissed the appeal. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has nullified the victory of the Senate Minority Leader Simon Nwakwon in the February 25 senatorial election in Plateau North Senatorial District. A three-member appeal panel ordered by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to, within 90 days, conduct a fresh election in the senatorial district. The court gave the verdict while ruling on the appeal filed by Chris Giwa of the All Progressives Congress and Gyang Zi of the Labour Party. Justice E. Daudu, who read the lead judgment of the appellate court, held that the High Court order was not fully complied with by the PDP, as 12 local government areas did not participate in the said Congress. In the meantime, the Federal High Court has okayed 2 separate suits seeking the removal of the newly appointed chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Olanikwekun Olukoyede. Both suits were brought before the court by legal practitioners Stanley Okwara and Maxwell Opara. They are also seeking an order setting aside and nullifying the appointment of the 4th defendant as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on October 12, 2023. In a separate development, the European Union (EU) and the government of Netherlands have expressed commitment to support Nigeria to create jobs for its teeming youthful population as a means to eradicating poverty, unemployment and irregular migration. In a statement by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the Minister, Dr. Beta Edu, secured the commitment during a meeting at Hague, Netherlands. According to the statement, the meeting had in attendance the European Union Commission's Director General for International Development, Erika Gerritsen, the Minister for Justice and the Minister of Security of Netherlands, Netherlands Secretary General, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Paul Hadjets, Netherlands Special Envoy for Migration, Peter Scrummant, and Head of Section Sahel, West Africa and Great Lakes, Tijman Rosboom, among others. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoino has reiterated the state's readiness to collaborate with development partners in order to attract investments into the state. In an interview with pressmen at the Victor Tai International Airport, Uyo, on his return from the 8th Annual London Political Summit at the House of Commons, Westminster Summit, Governor Eno said such opportunities for him is always an occasion to showcase the safe and lucrative economic opportunities the state is endowed with, stressing that the summit availed him another opportunity to attract investors to the state. Beyond investment interests, the governor, who was a delegate at the summit, said he also sees the opportunity of having several multinational agencies and aid organizations in one spot to market the state and assure relevant organizations of the state's readiness to partner for development, noting that the state cannot depend solely on federal allocation for growth. Government House correspondent Jen Uwa reports that the governor also disclosed that he had used the occasion to meet citizens of the state in the diaspora to discuss an intelligence and other ICT fields, amongst others, into the state. Moving on to Africa, where Kenyan President William Ruto has said that the country will not experience El Nino rains as predicted, citing a forecast by Kenya's meteorological department. He urged Kenyans to use the new prediction of abundant rainfall to produce more food from farming to ensure that the country is food secure. Reports say the El Nino weather phenomenon occurs when sea surface temperatures in the tropical eastern Pacific rise to about 0.5 Celsius above average. Recall that experts had warned that El Nino rains could hit Kenya and other East African countries from mid-October. Still in Africa, Tanzania has signed a 30-year port management agreement with the United Arab Emirates UAE despite opposition to the deal. Under the agreement, Dubai Port DP World will run 4 berths or quays at Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's largest port. The Emirati firm and the Tanzania Ports Authority will also collaborate in managing 3 other berths at the port. The partnership includes an investment of $250 million by Dubai Port World to upgrade infrastructure at the port over the next 5 years. On the foreign scene, White House has said that U.S. President Joe Biden has discussed the Israel-Hamas war with leaders of major Western powers. The White House said Biden spoke with the leaders of Britain, Canada, France, Germany, and Italy. It added that the leaders reiterated their support for Israel and its right to defend itself against terrorism and called for adherence to international humanitarian law, including the protection of civilians. Still on the foreign scene, scores of people have rushed to Deir el-Balah hospital to identify bodies after Israel stepped up its airstrikes on Gaza. As the territory's Hamas ruler said, 4,651 people have now been killed since the start of the war. Authorities said Deir el-Balah in central Gaza had suffered most from one of the most intense nights of shelling since Israel started its bombardment in response to Hamas cross-border attacks on October 7th. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry said more than 260 people died in 24 hours, noting that 1,873 of those killed in the past fortnight were children. And still to come in the news, Jose Mourinho sent off as Roma earned last gap's 1-0 victory over Monza in Serie A. Just stay with us.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the rest of the news stories. We begin now with business, where the federal government has announced that it attracted over $2 billion in investment in the renewable energy sector over the past decade. It announces through the Rural Electrification Agency REA, noting that in advancing these achievements, it established partnerships with the World Bank, African Development Bank, Global Alliance for People and Planet, Rocky Mountain Institute, and Japan International Cooperation Agency, amongst others. The Director of Promotion and Outreach, Mutari Ibrahim, who disclosed this in a statement issued in Abuja, said from 2020 to date, REA has provided power to over 7.5 million people, including 1.5 million households, delivering 130 mini-grid projects, including 1.3 million stand-alone home systems. According to him, the agency has equally deployed over 1,650 kilometers of solar streetlights, improving power security and economic growth in rural areas. In the meantime, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, has communicated plans to develop cost-effective housing designs and promote the construction of quality and affordable housing for Nigerians. He said the plan will cater to the housing needs of 80% of low and medium income earners in the country. The minister made this known when he received the leadership of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, led by its president, Shinobi Olayemi, at the ministry headquarters. He noted that an affordable housing design committee was created within his first week in office to develop more efficient design options to meet the income profiles of Nigerians within that bracket. We move to health, where the Association of Resident Doctors, ARD, at Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, Ogun State, has called for urgent actions to address the serious shortage of medical staff at the institution. The association urged the federal government to provide additional resources and support to the institution to improve the quality of care and reduce the burden on staff. The ARD president at the institution, Dr. Tukbe Osondara, made the call at the handing over of a newly constructed medical facility built by the Professor Musa Olumo-led administration to the association. He lamented that the shortage of staff has been a long-standing issue at the hospital, adding that it is leading to increased waiting times for patients, reduced access to care, and longer stays in the hospital. Still in health, as part of efforts to increase mental health awareness among adolescents and reduce cases of suicide in Nigeria, an non-governmental organization, NGO Youth Development and Empowerment Initiative, has called for the inclusion of mental health in primary and secondary school curricula. The NGO noted that including mental health in the school curriculum will help young people to become aware of mental health conditions early through awareness creation and knowing how to recognize signs of mental health problems and when to seek help. Speaking at the program, a public health physician at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Ikeja, Dr. Toriola Femi Adebayo, said the inclusion had become crucial, citing challenges faced by young people in the country. The physician said young people are facing a lot of stress, hence the need for one to take care of their mental health. We move now to sports, where Jose Mourinho has been sent off as Roma and a last gasp 1-0 victory over Monza to move up to 16 Serie A. Stefan El Shaarawy scored a 90-minute winner at the Stadio Olimpico after Romelu Lukaku and Sada Azmound both hit the post for the host. Monza were forced to play more than 50 minutes with 10 men after Danilo De Ambrosio's first half dismissal. Mourinho was given a red card deep into injury time after making crying gestures towards the opposition bench. Victory saw Roma end Monza's 5 marks unbeaten streak to move within 3 points of leaders Napoli. Still in sports, England have ordered Dolphin fast bowler Broden Curse to their World Cup squad to replace Reece Topley. Left-ham seamer Topley was ruled out of the tournament after breaking a finger in the defeat by South Africa in Mumbai, India. Cassie, aged 28, has taken 14 wickets in 12 one-day internationals, featuring most recently against Ireland last month. He impressed with 4 wickets in 3 T20s against New Zealand prior to the Ireland series. On our entertainment news, Nigerian artists Davido and Rema were the big winners at the just concluded 2023 Trace Awards held in Kigali, Rwanda. Rema won 2 awards, Song of the Year for his hit record Calm Down and Best Global African Artist alongside South African act Nomcebo Zikodi. Davido's bagged 2 awards, Best Male and Best Collaboration, while Burna Boy snagged the Album of the Year award for his Love Damini project. So on entertainment, Nigerian producer Chris Bede is set to release a deluxe edition of his project King of the New Wave. Reports say while Wanda Banton and Mboso's vocals are enlivened in the former, the latter's energy is soulfully wrapped around the outdoor, evoking touches of Chris Bede's. And that's all we have for you this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You've been watching Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Francis Oyima, edit. Many thanks for being there and do enjoy the rest of your week. Good afternoon.